If you guys give me a little extra money, I can get you a weirdo version of
a weirdo
the
version. I love that.
Again.
That's what it should be called, the weirdo version of Rebel Moon. Why not? Zack Snyder talking about director's cuts. Netflix was smart to just already build, it was already built in. It was already built in the fact that he was going to get his Snyder Cut that was going to be R-rated. But this is some of the things that he had to say right here.
I'd written the script, of course, in a vacuum, just as I would, you know, with my normal sort of aesthetic. Is a very hard R, very like sexy, violent,
sexually
crazy,
violent. You gotta love that.
Out of 11. Sort of believing in my mind that when I came to the production, I would just be able to kind of collapse it onto like a more sort of broader audience adventure. And I think what happened in my conversation with Netflix, they were always like, would there be any way to like go back to your original sort of subversive R-rated version? I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And they go, then we could have like, you know, you could do your thing, and we could have that as a separate piece of you know, content. Because my own relationship was kind of with DVD back in the day. So
he talked about this, of course, when it came to DVD sales of Ultimate Edition
would be
of
like,
BVS.
I'd kind of be done with the theatrical division, you know, who wanted the movie made, and I would just talk to DVD about like, hey, if you guys give me a little extra money, I can get you a weirdo version of the
weirdo
movie
version. I love that.
Again.
That's what it should be called, the weirdo version of Rebel Moon. Why not?
Started to get to know me and get to know that you know, that director's cut, there was always something in it that they weren't going to get from the theatrical version.
Exactly. So basically just talking about that, and he said, look, I'm super proud of the PG-13 version. Get out of here. Version of the movie. I really am. I think it's really fun and it's clean and cool. But again, just the sort of weirdo darkness of the R-rated version, if that was sort of an original thesis for what the movie could be, that's what we did. That's what we made in the R-rated version. So it's almost like I compare it to a comedian, a dirty comedian. Because if you think about it, like sometimes you have clean comedians, you have dirty comedians, you know, R-rated, full on, that just drop F-bombs and everything. You have both of those kind of comedians. And sometimes the dirty comedian has to, if they go on Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert or whatever the hell, they have to obviously clean it up. And sometimes they even talk about how when they go to corporate gigs, they have to do the same thing as well, as like clean up the material. So I kind of compare what Zack does with his movies as he's a dirty comedian, but then he when it comes to Rebel Moon, what he's doing right here, he's got to clean it up a little bit. He's got to clean it up for the masses. But then of course, he's going to also release the version where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to have the F-bombs, we're going to have the sex, we're going to have the graphic violence. And that's what's great. I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to both versions. I mean, obviously, I would want to just see the R-rated version right away, but I'm cool with seeing both because it is kind of cool to compare both.